Hello everyone, my name is Evelyn and I'm back with another video. If you're new, please subscribe. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much for returning. Today I'm going to be talking about the tax-free savings account. In my last video, I mentioned that I'll be talking about this account again to discuss more features of it. So today's video is about that. I'm going to talk about 6 points. 1, contributions. 2, how you can contribute. 3, accounts or the types of accounts that are available in the market. 4, accounts for kids. And then 5, withdrawals. And lastly, what happens if you do not reach your annual allowable maximum, which is currently 36,000. So let's get into today's video. So the first feature is one that most people may be aware of, which is the contributions. Annually or in a tax year, which is the period 1 March up to the end of February or the last day of February, you are allowed to contribute a maximum of 36,000. The 36,000 may change, and this change will be communicated by the Minister of Finance. However, at the moment, it's set at 36,000 rand for the tax year. And then in a lifetime, your contribution maximum is 500,000 rand. 500,000 per person per lifetime, right? So those 36,000 must add up to 500,000 basically. And then the second thing is that you can contribute less, which means, well, the rule is that you can contribute anything from 1 rand up to 36,000 rand. So it's up to you how much you would want to put away into a TFSA. Some asset managers or banks even would set a minimum deposit or a minimum amount for you to save. I know with some asset managers, the minimum is 250, others put a minimum of 500 rands. Some fixed deposit accounts would put a minimum of like 5,000 rand for the tax year. So it's up to you to find a TFSA that allows you to have a minimum that you can achieve. You are allowed to contribute less than 36,000 or whatever the minimum would be, but let's just work with 36,000. One thing you must remember is that you cannot carry over your whatever you did not contribute if you contributed less. What do I mean by that? Say in year 1 you contributed 30,000 rand because that's what you could do, and then in year 2 you are allowed only 36,000. If you carry over the 6,000 and you contribute 42,000, your 6,000, the extra 6,000 that you carried over will be subject to penalties, and that is not a nice thing to put yourself through. So you can contribute less, but you cannot carry over anything that you did not contribute in a tax year. Then the third thing, or the third feature, is what accounts are available, what types of accounts are available on the market. So banks would traditionally give you accounts that are interest bearing, TFSAs that are interest bearing. That is what you would typically get from a bank, but some banks will even give you an opportunity to use their share trading platforms where you can access a TFSA that has access to the stock market. So I know I've seen with Standard Bank, they've got a TFSA, two TFSAs rather, where it's just a normal savings bank account with guaranteed interest or a quoted interest rate, and then one that also gives you access to the stock market. Other accounts are available from companies, asset management companies such as Coronation, Easy Equities, Cautious, Alexandra Forbes, etc., and so forth. Those companies will typically give you an account that has access to ETFs and unit trusts. Basically, those accounts are more focused on investing in the stock market, using your TFSA funds to invest in the stock market. So those are the two types of accounts that you would find on the market. One that is interest bearing, and the other ones that are more exposed to instruments on the stock market, such as unit trusts and ETFs. Now, are you allowed to have more than one account? Yes, you are allowed to have more than one account. However, all of the accounts, all of them must add up to a contribution of 36,000. So why would anyone want to have more than one account? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is you would want to manage risk. So for example, if you've got a TFSA with an asset manager who puts your, or a broker, stock broker, for example, who puts your money or who exposes your money to the stock market, you might feel like because there are no guarantees on the stock market, you want guaranteed income from a fixed term deposit account. So you will approach a bank and then earn a certain percentage on your TFSA. So maybe that risk of income or consistency in income, you might want to manage it that way. Otherwise, you are allowed to do whatever you want. You can have 3 different fixed deposit accounts, or you can have 3 different accounts with asset managers. It's up to you. I have 2 with Satrix and Easy Equities, and they virtually do the same thing. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is accounts for kids. Are you allowed to open an account for your children? Yes, you are. And the main thing here is that the account must be in the child's name. So reasons why you would want to open an account for your child: 1, you don't know what will happen in the future. The tax-free account was created through a law that may change in the future, and you want to get in there because of the benefit of zero tax on earnings. So because you don't know when things might change, it could be something that you consider for your child. And then 2, laws are not applied retrospectively. So whoever has the tax-free savings account now, if tomorrow the government changes and says there's no more tax-free savings accounts, you will not be affected, because laws are not retrospective, they're forward-looking. So your child will still have the opportunity to grow their money tax-free. And then 3, unemployment in this country is very high. When I was in matric, people who were pursuing medicine, health professions generally, and engineering, they were more likely to get jobs. But today you hear about engineers and doctors who are sitting at home without jobs. They can't even get jobs in government. So things are changing, and some people say, but my child will have an opportunity to contribute to their own tax-free savings. But what if your child doesn't work? So it might be a good idea to start thinking about adding that to your child's portfolio. Then the last reason would be that you give your child space. If you take care of the tax-free savings account, which will take you about 14 years to do, from the time they are born or from whenever, it will take you 14 years to do. If you take care of that, your child will then, when they start working, let's say things look better, we have a good economy again, when they start working, they can concentrate on houses, cars, other investments, and live a happy life, knowing that the tax-free nest egg is growing and making more money for them, you know. So those are the reasons why you might want to consider a tax-free savings account for your child, but remember, it has to be in their name. Point number 5 is withdrawals. You are allowed to withdraw from your tax-free savings account depending on the rules of an account, the account that you chose. Some accounts are fixed term for 12 months, so maybe withdrawals might attract penalties or fees. However, the typical tax-free savings account is that it allows you to withdraw. The problem with withdrawals cannot be replaced. So if, let's say, it's the 1st of March and you've got 36,000, you just put it in your TFSA, but then you hit a snag during the month or maybe 6 months down the line and you need 2,000 rand and you withdraw that, you can't now come back in November and say, let me put back that 2,000 and make the account 36,000 rand again. SARS will see that as 36,000, which you contributed in March, and 2,000 that you are now contributing later in the year. So it's 38,000. Your 2,000 will be subjected to a penalty. So withdrawals must just be approached with caution, because this is an account where you want your money to stay the longest and your money to be able to grow. So remember that with withdrawals, you cannot replace them. If you take it out, you're eating away at your 500,000 500,000 lifetime limit. And this is why cash is important. Sinking funds, emergency funds, cash, floating cash. This is why those things are important, so that you do not touch your TFSA. Now, for the last part. So lastly, I'm going to talk about what happens when you do not reach your 36,000 rands maximum contributions annually. This has got no financial consequence per se, except that it will extend or it will prolong your timeline towards the 500,000. What do I mean by this? So if we work with the current limits, you've got a lifetime limit of 500,000 and an annual limit of 36,000. You divide 500 by 36, you get 13.88 years or 14 years to round it off, right? Now, if you do, for example, if you contribute 10,000, or maybe you say, I'm just going to do 10,000 in the TFSA every year, that's well and good, but it's going to take you 50 years to get to 500,000. If you do 18,000, it's going to take you 27 years to get to 500,000. So the contributing less, the only snag with contributing less is that you will take longer to get to 500,000. But it's not something you should be pushing, you should be feeling bad about. It's not something you should be feeling bad about, because what counts is that you have the account, you're working towards it, and you can always review it as your life changes and contribute more over time, you know. So the only thing that will happen if you contribute less is that you're just prolonging your achievement of the 500,000 lifetime limit. So this is the end of my video. Thank you for watching, but remember that I have a giveaway going on supported by Waterford. I'm giving away a bottle of their beautiful Blanc de Blanc Cup Classique to celebrate anyone who has reached their 36,000 TFSA goal. And I will leave details to the rules in the description bar below. And yeah, go off and achieve your goal, ya maemo, 36,000 in your TFSA, and I will give you this Cup Classique, ya maemo. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.